Hello chess friends and welcome to your out of chess channel and welcome to a spectacular game from the TCEC season 26 Fischerrandom Superfinals between the two top engines Stockfish 16 and the LCZero. The winner of the competition is of course Stockfish 16. Stockfish dominated over LCZero in a 50 match game in which Stockfish gained 28 points and the LCZero only gained 22 points, so it was a +6 result for the fish after 50 rounds, which is in my opinion a clear result, great result for the fish. Of course Stockfish lost also some games, but then of course Stockfish also won the reverse games, played a couple of draws in a bad setup, but then won the game with the white pieces. So Stockfish is now the deserved winner of a new TCEC competition. And I've sorted out what is in my opinion one of the most spectacular games from the super final. We have now Stockfish against LCZero in this particular setup of Fischerrandom chess. So you see the first rank is mixed up, the pieces are not set up like in common chess. And actually what Stockfish immediately noticed in this setup is here a problem between the dark square bishop against the queen on h8. So from the beginning Stockfish will actually play against this queen, which was in my opinion really cool idea in the beginning in this setup of Fischerrandom chess. So let's see now what happened. Stockfish 16 against LCZero from the Fischerrandom Superfinals of the TCEC season 26. So with the white pieces here, the fish opened with the move v4. Leela's response was here a flank attack on the king side, because Leela noticed also that Stockfish could castle king side, and then Leela could have great chances on this side of the board. Stockfish continues with the queen side flank attack, and then also pushes the pawn further and further attacks. Now the knight on f6 is in some lines, trying of course bishop to f6 maybe to mess up the pawn structure here on this side of the board. a6 by Leela, we have knight to g3, b5, e4. Stockfish puts now more pressure in the center of the board, and after b takes c, Stockfish simply castles. This is of course possible in Fischerrandom chess. Stockfish has now secure the king here by castling, has now great chances on the f file, has a good space advantage in the center of the board, has a powerful bishop, has an active queen, but also a very powerful knight on g3. After castling knight to e6 by Leela, Stockfish continues with e5. Leela retreats with the knight and hits also here this pawn on f4. Stockfish continues with the pressure here on the king side, and now a control play by Leela with the move g5. And you see now the queen and the bishop are hitting so far the pawn, so Stockfish has to do something around the square e5. So that's why after queen to c4 that Stockfish played in h4 by Leela. First of all, knight to e4. Again, Leela has to retreat, but now after knight to f4, Stockfish found here a beautiful idea how to make progress here, because this one is almost impossible to break. And if you play something like d4, then you're basically blocking out your bishop through the whole game, because the knight on d5 is simply too powerful here. But Stockfish, instead of maybe protecting the pawn on e5, found a very spectacular idea in the beginning. He played now the move f6. Really wild stuff. Trying really to open now this long diagonal for the dark square bishop. Leela took e takes f6, but now comes really the mean plan of the fish. Rook takes f4, which makes this knight on d5 a little bit paralyzed, because you cannot recapture here with the knight. You get this one, knight to f6, and if you step back, then bishop to g4, and I think black has really an unpleasant game. Look at this. d4 d5 could happen now. There is a tension on the c file, bishop will come into the game. You have several dark square problems, king is stuck in the center of the board. I would not love to play this game anymore from black's perspective. So that's why after rook to f4, Leela is forced now to take with the g pawn, and Stockfish after a couple moves created really a dynamic position where Leela has this triple pawn structure on the f file, has now this overloaded knight. I would say this knight is always stuck here because the knight has to protect several squares here in black's camp. The queen is cornered, so I think a great compensation for the lost rook for the knight here by Stockfish 16. After g takes f4, Stockfish continues with knight to c3. What should you do? If you try here f takes e5, this wasn't good because you get this one, knight to d5 takes, and then you have to worry also about the c file attack that I've talked about. So really dynamic game all over the board created here by the fish. So after knight to c3, what you could do is maybe knight takes c3, but white doesn't have to take out now the knight immediately. Can play this intermediate, and then bishop to c3, and again there are several problems. Maybe e6 discover attack against the queen, bishop to f3, maybe even bishop to f3, then bishop to c6, queen to c6, maybe. I think after a couple more moves, even in this line, the position is cracking simply here for black. So that's why for knight to c3, Leela played now knight to b6, counter attack against the queen, but slowly and surely Stockfish is getting the queen on dark squares, and you see now there's a hole here in black's camp, especially here around the square d6. What should you do? The knight is under fire. If you take here immediately, then we can pick up the knight. There are many great moves here. I just wanted to show just one line. Queen to b6 is not even the optimal move here that the engine suggests, but you can take out the knight, and again I think the game is over here for black. But after queen to c5, here f takes e5 was played by Leela, which is a better choice, locking out again this long diagonal for the dark square bishop. But you cannot take now. The issue is you cannot take out the knight on b6 because you get this one, bishop to a7, and the queen is lost. So that's why Stockfish kept it calm. After this move, f takes e5 by Leela, Stockfish plays, of course, knight to d6, forces now black to take, queen to d6, and you see now black is now kept with again this dark square problems around the king. Several tactical problems are here for sure in black's camp. Even the problem is also you cannot include some other pieces in the game because the move queen to d6 neutralizes the d pawn. You cannot play d6 d5 in order to finally liberate your light square bishop, and if the light square bishop is not playing, then also the rook is playing. It's almost like black is playing now without two pieces through the whole game. Very crazy stuff. So that's why f6. Leela is trying to get the queen on e7, maybe trade it off, force a simplification now in the game, but Stockfish again retreats with the queen, attacks the knight, h3. You could maybe try here, queen to b6, but the engine again doesn't like it because of this line. Queen to h4 allows here the queen to sneak in, maybe even I don't know, the light square bishop to get back into the game, maybe rook to g8, attacking further the g file. So Stockfish again kept it calm, played first of all knight to e4. You see now this is a good move because of the potential knight to d6, and then maybe to do some damage here against this king on e8. What should you do? If you try here from black's perspective, counter play on the g file. This wasn't played in the game by Leela, but I wanted to show you even some counterplay for black is not working here because you get this one, knight to d6. For instance, you step back, then knight to c8, you're trying to get the king here. Then look at this, we can even sack the rook. So again, it's just one line. Black and white don't have to play the game like this, but I want to show how messy it is to handle this attack here by white. Look at this, this one can be taken even if you step back here to b8, then this one is coming, whatever you do. For instance, bishop to e5, we can even immediately take out the rook on a8. Even if you try this one, then queen to b6 again wins here the rook again. The dark square bishop is coming through, the light square bishop is coming through. All of these pieces are not included so far in the game. Again, game over here for black. So see, rook to g8, some counterplay is simply not working, even if you as I said, simply too much pressure here by white. So after knight to e4, that's why knight to d5 by Leela. Stockfish continues now again with this beautiful move d4. As I mentioned in the beginning, again getting use of this powerful dark square bishop against the queen. The queen is not breathing here of black. So after d4, Leela decides to go with the move king to f7, d takes e5, queen to h4 with the threat of queen to e1, but now knight to d6 and bishop to f3 covers now, of course, the back rank because queen to e1 was the huge threat by Leela. After bishop to f3, f5, here by Leela c0, and now queen to d4. Slowly but surely again this dark square problems in black's camp. Again, I'm pointing out the knight on d6 took over now the function of the queen. Previously the queen created this blockade against this potential progress of the light square bishop. So again, this light square bishop is neutralized, but also the rook on a8 is simply out of game. After queen to d4, knight to c7, look how bad pieces of blacks are here, but Stockfish continues now again with a powerful plan g4. Great stuff. You cannot take, of course, f takes g3 because the queen is endangered on the fourth rank, so that's why f takes g4, and now a great follow-up e6. Really wild stuff. Now this problem is obvious here. Leela is forced now to do something. Knight to e6 covers so far the g7 square, but now queen to e4. You cannot protect everything because Stockfish is now destroying black's position with a beautiful bishop pair on light squares, on dark squares, with the support of the queen, with the support of this powerful knight. The rook is very active. Messy position here to handle for Leela C0, King to H6. Now this idea, okay, Stockfish is saying maybe you can protect the dark squares, but then you cannot protect the light squares. Now the main goal is bishop to D3, queen to H7, checkmate here, queen to G5, and now comes this idea. Leela covers so far the H7 score, but now knight to F5. Again, this piece is coming in an active way into the game. Stockfish got finally now the exchange back, and after queen to F5, I would even dare to say almost game over here for black. Look at this. Bishop's very active, queen, bishop battery, rook can be maybe included into the game, but Leela in the beginning found, I think, the optimal way here. Maybe rook to b8, trying to do something here, some counterplay on the b file. Even after something like d6, then rook to c6 is coming through. So again, nothing spectacular gained here for black. So that's why for queen to f5, rook to b8. Finally, some counterplay for Leela c0, but again, Stockfish found the most spectacular move. Stockfish in this position found the amazing rook to c5. This is the way to go. What should you do? The threat is after potential rook to b4, you get checkmated immediately with queen to h5. That's the beauty about this move, rook to c5. Leela is pretty much forced here to take after knight to c5, but now first queen to f4. We have king to h5. Even if you cover here, it doesn't matter. Then you get actually checkmated here after a couple more moves. Game is over, so you have to step back here to h5, and after king to h5, now queen to f5, check, king to h6, and now again if you check, you cannot cover with the queen because of the light square bishop activity. King to h5, and now finally b takes c5, taking out now the knight. The bishop on d3 is covering, of course, the b1 square. Nothing can happen here, and again this light square bishop is so far neutralized. Again, the powerful bishop pair is working here in white's favor. So here after b takes e5, d6, finally Leela is trying to get the light square bishop into the game, but Stockfish simply continues with bishop to d4, a good move because after queen to e8, bishop to f2, controlling now the back rank. Look how the fish is controlling with the bishop the e1 square, but with this bishop also the b1 square. So no problem so far on the first rank. We have now the move g3. Leela is trying somehow to break and enter here. H takes g3, rook to b4, and now king to h2. Good move by the fish, simply improving the position of the king. Now there are again some threats, again somehow deliver some checks with the bishop or maybe with the queen. Rook to a4, trying to do something again here with rook to a2, and then on the second rank, but now finally c takes d6. What should you do? If you try here rook takes a2, then queen to h4 is the huge threat. You cannot so far leave the protection of the fourth rank. That's the issue. So good plan by Leela, but it's not working because of queen to h4. After c takes d6, we have bishop to d7, bishop to f5. Great move again by the fish, trading off finally the light square bishops, but after queen to f5, Stockfish is relying simply on this pass around the d file, and it's game over here for Leela. Leela tries to battle after queen to f5, king to h6, d7, and now queen to e7. Even if you try queen to d8, then bishop to e3, check, and this one is promoted for sure. So after d7 here, queen to e7 by Leela, and now Stockfish continues with bishop to c5, queen to e2, check. It doesn't matter, king to h3, but now no good checks are possible. Even if you try here like Leela, queen to h5, these queens are off the board, but now this pawn is promoted. You see, Stockfish, after this really brutal tactical mess, created this dangerous pass pawn that Leela had to play in order to somehow finally get the light square bishop into the game. Leela had to push the d pawn, Stockfish took, and this d pawn was actually the main strategic goal here for Stockfish. After d8, the promotion, rook to a3, Stockfish got challenged this way, delivered a check, and after bishop to f8, it was a beautiful checkmate pattern here by the queen and bishop's activity. So, great attack by the fish in Fischerrandom chess. Really amazing stuff. From the beginning, noticing this problems on dark squares where the bishop is crossing towards the queen on h8. Really precise attack by the fish. opening up the diagonal, getting use of the dark square problems, then including some other pieces into the game. This move rook to c5 was amazing, deflecting the knight from the defense of the king. So again, very many beautiful tactical motifs by the strongest chess engine in the world, by Stockfish 16. So again, congratulations to the developers of the Stockfish engine. It's again very, very impressive in any time formats, in any variant of chess. So in Fischerrandom, it's almost unbeatable. Destroyed here LCZero again with a clear result. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Cool stuff again by the Fish. If you want to see some other Fischerrandom chess games, check out our Fischerrandom playlist. But also, if you want to see more beautiful, spectacular tactical chess by Stockfish and also by some top other top engines, check out our commented chess games played by computers. Here's also the link, and if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.